And welcome, one and all, to our first official uh, podcast, video, audio, or otherwise. We're coming to you live Saturday night at 10 p.m. on Javi's Woodshop YouTube channel. And obviously, you are listening to us possibly on our podcast channel, which is brand new, and I still haven't figured out the details yet. So eventually.
Coming to some radio podcast place.
Coming to some radio podcast place near you. Exactly. Yeah. I'm joined by my buddy here, Mr. Al Forte. Hey, Al.
How's everyone doing? Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper, one and all. We are here to basically chat about. We're basically the podcast is nothing more than 50 and 60-year-old guys talking about the 70s and 80s. So
kind of reminiscent, right?
The 50s and 60s, talking about the 70s and 80s, if you will. And as our first show, we're just going to be a hodgepodge of all different things. So I'd like to welcome all our viewers. Mr. Mark Lindsay, I see you out there. Oh, by the way, folks, for those of you on the audio podcast that can't see, I will be mentioning the chat room, and if anybody has any interesting comments, and I will try to mention them by name and everything, so you're not all blind on the radio. And good evening, Mr. Mark Lindsay says evening. Poppi's Woodshed, that would be Mervin, and let's see here. We got Mr. Paul Stewart from X3CNC. Mako Shark is here, 51. So, yeah, go ahead, guys. Give your ages out there if you don't mind. And we shall, see the rough ages of the people we have out here. I am 55, and my buddy Al here is 60, I believe.
You know, Javi, I really like the way you put that. 50s and 60s talking about the
70s and 80s.
I'm 60, folks.
Yep. And that's pretty much what we are. We're the 50s and 60s talking about the 70s and 80s. Because let me tell you, it was a great time. It's a great nostalgic time. I mean, we do. I know Al and I live here in the present. We do enjoy the present. We're not stuck in the past, but we are quite fond of the past. And it's always look, when you're having a conversation with somebody, what is what you enjoy most about someone? You enjoy their stories. You enjoy whether you're talking about memories that shared memories directly shared between two people, or memories shared vicariously through the times. It's a wonderful thing to share and to hear. But aside from this,
you will edit that out, right?
I'm just throwing it all in there for goodness sake. But I do have to take a sip of my Diet Coke to wash down that
tickle in my throat. Times, right? It's the way of the world today.
It's the way of the world today. Yeah, Mark says he's stuck in the 60s. But aside from our shared memories, it's always nice to have to share stories. And even if we haven't shared a same memory, there are similarities and due to the times, and it's nice when like I said, when we can do that. So we got Paul out there is 49, Mervin is 69, Mitchell is 51, and Mako, of course, is 51. I'm 55, Al 60. So we're all in there around the same era. And let me start by asking you a few questions, Al. Let's just throw out a random hodgepodge of stuff that just first thing to come to my mind is I'm not going to go for the obvious electronic toys because I'll be getting to that. But let's go with something that I got on my shelf and stuff. Did you ever do the Rubik's Cube?
Yeah, definitely did the Rubik's Cube. In fact, I did the Rubik's Cube, and I would, rotated upon its axis like you know that it does. And I would get
Mhm.
so frustrated that I decided one day to peel off all the little stickers
Oh
and
yeah.
put it in the right place. And yeah, look.
Yep. I got to tell you, I'm guilty of that myself the first time. And I threw that one away because the stickers never come back on right. It's always a giveaway. And I was telling folks in an earlier show that I had a buddy of mine, Howard in high school. Both of us, there were back then, and we're talking circa 1981, 82 when this came out, around thereabouts. Howard and I, there were three books for Rubik's Cube solutions. This is back, obviously, pre-internet. This is when books were the way we learned, books or fellow gurus, and so there were three books, and we just happened to have the one book. Everybody knew of only one book. And there were two others, and Howard and I had the very rare one that was kind of a pamphlet that would do side, side, middle, as opposed to side, middle, side, which is what most of the books did. And people were amazed at how fast we could do it. I mean, I don't have the dexterity or the memory to remember all the moves,
Right.
but I still fix mine whenever my kids mess it up, peeling off the stickers. the good old times. Okay, how about this?
Yeah.
How about this one? Did you own a members only jacket?
No, I did not. I didn't.
It was a little after your time, I guess, right? Or was it?
Or I wasn't cool enough to own one.
Well, come on, you're talking to one of the oldest living nerds, and
or rich enough. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't have the funds because at that.
Okay, I can accept
80s,
that.
Right? It was early 80s, right?
It was early 80s. It was
Yeah.
early 80s. It was early 80s. Mm-hmm.
I had just come out of the Air Force. Well,
Yeah.
Making $600 a month, you don't have much money.
Yeah. The jackets were, if I remember correctly, the jackets were $55 each.
Yeah,
and
that was to me a lot of money back then. And then trying to get back, because I got out around 82. I got out, and then my job wasn't the best in the world. I got married also, so that kind of limited my spending, funds and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, my Frankie's here saying he's 36, but all his toys were hand-me-downs from his aunts and uncles, so he remembers them fondly. Mitchell peeled the stickers off. Mark says peeling the stickers off a Rubik's Cube was a thing when I was in 6th grade. and let's see here. Oh yeah, Mervin's talking a little bit older toys here. He made tractor wheels out of thread spoons and rubber bands in his day. That's a bit off from our days. Troy popped and reinstalled them as always.
Hey, by the way, a special shout out to Mitchell Lumnitter and Unpharisees, some crafters from over at Twitch. Great people. Just wanted to say that.
Welcome, Mitch. Welcome, Mitchell. Let's see. What other piece of trivia? Walkman. Did you ever have a Walkman?
Yeah, in fact, I still think I do.
Wait a second, folks. We're talking, if you're too young to remember, we're talking about the cassette Walkman, the original.
No, this was a DVD.
No. That's later.
That's why I say I still have one. In fact, I know exactly. I think where it's at.
I don't know where I put mine, but I had a cassette.
I'm gonna leave the post and I'll go check.
He's gonna go check. In the meanwhile, folks, feel free to post your memories and stuff. I have so many of back then. I mean, everything from. If you're talking movies and stuff like that. How about you guys remember Max Headroom? No doubt. The Max Headroom show.
Still have a Max Headroom poster. By the way, it was a fail. It's an antenna, not a Walkman.
Not a Walkman. Yeah, it looks like it.
Walkman, but
it's a little bit off. Yeah. And so yeah, Frankie had a knockoff version of the members only. I think I had like maybe I was a spoiled kid. I'm sorry, folks. I had maybe 8 or 9 different colors of along with a couple of Fonzie jackets because my 7th grade, there was a Fonzies. Oh yeah, Mervin mentioned 8-track tapes. That's always one of my first 8-track tape, folks, was Star Wars from what's famous oh my god, the composer slipped my mind right now. Mention John Williams? No. Am I right? Wrong? Who composed the Star Wars theme song? Drew a blank all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I thought it was John Williams. Maybe? No. Why is my mind going? Oh, well, hey, that's what happens when you get... Yeah, it is John Williams. Okay, yeah, Mark just confirmed it.
It sure is.
It is. So, yeah, we had that disco version of... Dun, dun, da, 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 and it was just fantastic. But disco. I know Mark hates that part because he's not a big disco fan and stuff. Mitchell sold his CD Walkman on eBay, which is... It's so funny. Just, 80s, Walkman, eBay, 2000s.
She sold it on eBay? When she sold it on eBay?
Let's see here. Mark had the FM Walkman and then got the cassette version later. Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know everything about Star Wars, Mark. I don't know everything about Star Trek either.
Yeah. Yep, Al is ribbon Mark about Star Wars and Star Trek. Yeah, we will be having future shows where we'll be talking about almost exclusively, probably one show per whether it's Trek or Babylon 5 or Firefly or I guarantee you we'll get into all of them. So
I actually looked up Babylon 5 to go start watching it again. And it's on. I can't remember where it was on. I want to say it was on. I want to say Amazon, but that's not wrong, right? Because I have Amazon. Or maybe it is. But anyway, it's leaving. It's leaving there, and they don't know where it's going to go. They think it's going to go back to Warner Brothers. I think I could be wrong actually on. But basically the bottom line is I was not able to watch any of it because I didn't want to pay $20. I guess I'm cheap,
Now, we were talking earlier about this off the air. Did you ever have a Merlin game? It's a little electronic game. And all it had was, it's like 4 buttons on the bottom, I think, save game or something like that. It had like 9 buttons in the middle, one, and it was just, and it was after Simon. And it was, let me see if I can here. Let me do a screen share here. I just pulled one up on that's not it. Hang on. And there. It looked like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I had one of the,
I'm on the same page.
What's that?
I'm on the same page.
You're on the same page. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that was a fun game. That was I'll tell you, that was good. Little Professor, folks, you guys remember Little Professor? And yeah, as Mitchell just said, Polaroid camera. I had a Polaroid one-step. I had a blue Polaroid Zip. You guys remember the Zip? You guys remember the one-step was really cool. See, at the time, I guess I asked for so many things for Christmas that my parents bought me a Zip instead of a one-step. The one-step came later. The Polaroid Zip was the one where you pulled the you pulled the white little tab out, and then the picture would come out, and then you'd pull the picture, and it would obviously the gunk would spread all over the picture, and you give it a minute. And by the way, folks, for those of you folks that waved it, that did nothing. This was a chemical reaction. I'm sorry if you thought it sped it up or something. But the Zip one, you peeled it, The Polaroid One Step was really cool because it popped out the thing. It came later, and it was a fantastic technology because it developed within 3 minutes, right? Right, and you still own one. They still make film for that, by the way, Mitchell. I had a buddy of mine who had I forgot what company it was, but might have Polaroid up until a few years ago, and then there was another company that still makes film for those things.
I used to use one like that in high school as the class photographer, and I liked it so much. It was a bellows camera that had the same. You pull out the sheet, and then you put the clear over it and stuff. You dry it off.
Yeah, Mark with the Polaroid land camera. Yeah, the one with the
exactly
with the bellows. That was cool.
And honestly, I went to go find it, and I don't know where it's at.
Yeah. Oh, 8mm movie cameras. Oh, speaking of nostalgia, here, look at this. Up, how about that old thing? You see way up there the tape deck. I got a Sony tape deck up there, and that's reel to reel, folks. For those of you who are wondering what I mean by tape deck,
as opposed to fake,
as opposed to cassette or any other type. Flip flash bulbs. That's a good one, Mitch. The flip flash bulbs. Those were I had quite a number of cameras. The Instamatic. Remember the Instamatic, folks? And then I had which was the one? Let me see. There was an Instamatic and the pocket camera. The pocket Instamatic. I had the regular Instamatic that would take the cube ones, and the pocket Instamatic. It was a little thin. One of them took the fatter cartridges, Kodak, and the other one took the thinner. Oh man, those good times. Good times.
There's a one that I haven't heard of in a long time, an 8-track recorder.
8-track recorder. Yep.
Recorder. Yep. Yeah.
Yes, I had a. It wasn't very popular because frankly, I did have a few. In fact, let's see if I have here. I don't know. I probably stuck it in a box in the warehouse. I had a few 8-track tapes from Radio Shack. Here we go. Troy said the 8-track recorder. Yep. I had a red Panasonic player, and then I think it was also Panasonic. There was a white one that recorded, and it was fantastic. You'd have the auxiliary, and you could click record. The only annoying part was you better have the tape right at the beginning of the track, and then you can record just for so long. I would record my songs on it. Yeah, the thing about 8-tracks, folks, which obviously it died because it was a technology that, once you played a song, you can't just go back. You can't just move the needle like a record. You can't just rewind like a cassette. You had to basically go forward till the automatic metal piece triggered a track change, and then you click 3 times, click, 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 until you go back to your track, and then God help you if you missed the beginning of the song and had to do it all over again. Those were brutal times, and kids complain today about not being able to get the song they want on their Spotify list or something.
Hello, Rusty Nails out there.
Hey, Russ is out there. Good to see you, Russ. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there. Let's see. How about this? Did you have wacky packages? Did you ever get into wacky packages?
No, I don't even know what those are, to be honest.
Okay. Or garbage pail kids. How about that?
Yeah, the garbage pail kids, yeah.
Okay. Well, wacky packages came out just a little before Garbage Pail, I think, or maybe a little after. Wacky packages were they were along the similar lines except they weren't as disgusting. Well, I guess they both were disgusting. They had things like, instead of crest, it was crust.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of different things like that. Oh yeah. And Mark remembers those. Mervin. Yep. And let's see, what do we got here? What else does Obviously, I won't even start to talk about the arcade games. We'll save that for a whole other show. Speak and Spell. How about Speak and Spell? Did you ever have a Speak and Spell?
That was the most interesting toy that wasn't a toy in a sense. I mean, it was actually a tool that was from that time.
The Speak and Spell, I had the Speak and Spell, and I had the Little Professor, because my mom would buy me all sorts of stuff that was educational, and I loved it because the Little Professor was from, I believe it was Texas Instruments, and it was this little tiny yellow with it. It looked. Let me see. I'll pull one up on the screen. Hang on.
I don't know if I have the voice module for the TI-994 still, but I had a TI-994 that I purchased back then that actually had a voice module on it that was like the Professor. Those were the times when computers were starting to creep into society.
Yeah.
And in 80, I think around that, I went to the Lubbock Mall, which I don't remember the name of it, but to go look for a pair of shoes at Tom McCann's shoe store.
Oh yeah. I had Tom McCann medium art cookie.
Yeah. I ended up
my flat feet
store of J.C. Penney's, and there was this display that had a computer up there, and it was talking, and a cassette player, and games, and
Apple One.
And I still have the original one from 1980, and that might be a whole show in itself, actually.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly.
That would really be, I think, a good nostalgic
vintage
trip.
1978 Little Professor. Here's I remember it vividly because it had the little hat, the shape of the hat, and it was the LED. I mean, the old-fashioned LED bulbs that would burn out in a year. At least one of the elements would always burn out, and basically you would play the game, and you set a level, you play the game, and it would just give you multiplication tables, and you'd have to answer it. I mean, I remember it well. So let me see, where am I? Here we go.
How about something simpler? How about Spirograph?
Oh, fantastic!
That was the game that everybody had, that everybody could.
Yep, absolutely.
Geometric drawings.
Yep.
You drew these beautiful shapes,
and you'd have to buy. And you'd have to buy pens after pens after pens, because the ones that Spirograph gave you, or actually all those pens except the Bic pen, all the ones that Spirograph gave you just ran out of ink. And every pen pretty much on the market except the Bic pen and Barrel.
Yes. Yeah.
Those pens were the good ones. I'd chew the tops off those pens.
An actual artist. I mean, that actually convinced you that you could actually, have a piece.
The old football game. There you go. Here's another one from Paul. You remember the old? Let's see. It was green, and it was a bunch of X's and zeros. I think I'm trying to remember. And you'd have different positions, and you'd set up all types of. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find that football game.
I wasn't much into sports, so I didn't. And honestly, back then they looked kind of clunky to me, and kind of just at least the ones I remember.
Yeah, the one. Oh, yeah, they were. It wasn't much of a football game. It would play out at random. Hang on a second. Let me see. Let me look for. I made a mistake. I looked for 80's football game. This is a 70's football game. There it is. Football handheld electronic game. That's the one. Give me a second. I'll pop it up for the ones viewing here. It's from Mattel. It's electronic football. That's exactly what it's called. Hang on a second here. And zoop. So electronic football. This thing had over here on the screen, all it had was just little dashes.
Yeah.
I remember.
Exactly. Yes.
There it is. Little dashes. That's all it had. And you'd see the players running on the field, and those were good times. Just simpler times, folks. Simpler times.
Now you got Madden and who else? Like I said, I'm not into sport, but who else knows?
Yeah, I'm not. I've never been into sports, but you know, but electronic toys, I just about had every one. You know, and Mako had a Walkman, and football. Fantastic. Oh yeah, Troy brought up a good one. Light Bright, classic,
Oh yeah,
classic. Light Bright.
definitely.
Light Bright, making things with light. Light Bright, making things with Light Bright. Who doesn't remember all the jingles from the 70s and 80s? You know, oh Fab, I'm glad there's lemon fresh and borax, and you come on.
Well, I think Javi remembers all the
But
jingles.
they never stopped. I mean, those were the most fantastic jingles. I mean, hot dogs, Armor hot dogs.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Kinds of kids eat Armor hot dogs. Fat kids, skinny kids who climb on rocks, tough kids, sissy kids, even kids with chicken pox. I mean, it Rock'em Sock'em robots. I mean, they're guys. The chat room is just a flutter with. I mean, I loved Rock'em Sock'em robots.
And Mattel had some really cool
fantastic game. Hot Wheels. I had so many Hot Wheels tracks, the black and the orange tracks that I could go to town with Hot Wheels cars and tracks. Creepy crawlers, Mattel creepy crawlers, the edible ones.
You know, one that was also creepy was the Teddy Ruxpin. I don't know if you remember it, but
I remember Teddy Ruxpin. My brother had a Teddy Ruxpin. It was
considered horrifying by kids. They actually would have nightmares over it.
Yeah, Mitchell brought up My Baloney Has a First Name. It's OSCAR, the Oscar Mayer tune. So, sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Peter Paul had nuts. All mouths don't. No. Those were great times. It's like just so much stuff. It's funny because I was reading this article the other day, and on memory loss, and we like to joke around about how we don't remember things, but there were some studies shown, because I always used to think that memory loss was like, or our memories were like, basically I like to think of my brain like a library. An average brain is like a library. As you learn, you put more books until it fills up a floor, and then you got another floor, and you fill more books and never ending. And the older you are and the more you learn, the more floors you have, and the more books you have, the more knowledge you have. And here's the thing, when you're a young kid, you could bring up any book in the little room that you have, but when you're somebody that's up there, you've got so much information in your brain. It's not that you don't know it, it's the recall is harder. That was my theory, and it's a good theory, but I've been reading recently that people don't forget things. They don't. It's not that you. It's, well, I mean, okay, obviously there's Alzheimer's and there's also those serious issues, but the average person, when they get older, they don't. There is brain cells are created. It's neurogenesis.
Is the issue the recall?
No, I'm saying neurogenesis. I'm saying I was taught when I was younger that brain cells are the only things that are not created. They're only created as a kid, and then when you're growing up, and that's it. And then you have a limited amount, and that is not true. That is false. But the issue with remembering is you remember what is most important to you and what's most relevant. I could recall all the words to Gilligan's Island, even the last half, clearly clear as a bell, and all my 70s and 80s sitcoms, because I grew up in that time and I soaked it in and I loved it and I watched it over and over. But if you ask me to remember the some of the Calc 2 or differential equations problems that I learned in school, I wouldn't be able to recall it. I still know them, and if I were to have a problem, a math problem, let's say, that I need to access that information, well, I wouldn't be able to access it, but I know that I knew it once, and it's a quick refresher. But the point is, certain things you're never going to recall because you never really recalled them in the first place. You only recalled them, let's say, once for a test.
I always tried to put them down on paper, and I would fight to memorize.
Remember, yeah.
Versus, can I take notes? Can I write this down? Can I?
Oh, check this one out. The Big Fig Newton.
Big Newton, yes.
Yes. Yes. And the Honeycomb Bear.
Yes.
I was the with the club, and it's not big. No. It's not small. No. It's big. Honeycomb's got a big bite and a big taste and a big bite. Oh my God. And then don't get me started on HR Puffin stuff and all those other shows. We'll save that for another episode. But yeah, Hot Wheels tracks. As Frankie said, they replaced paddles when he was little. Paddles, you're talking about ping pong paddles, or
is he talking about little cars? Because Hot Wheels tracks was the tracks.
Oh, the tracks. Yes.
You would build the tracks with it.
Yeah, that's what I used to always build with. And,
I still have Hot Wheels, by the way. I still keep a bunch of different Hot Wheels. I've tried to collect a bunch of Mustangs, and I've kind of drifted off to like the Batmobile. I got a Batmobile, or the Mach 5. I got a Mach 5. Or
Mach 5.
Things that were kind of iconic.
Here comes Speed Racer. He's a demon on wheels.
Yes.
He's a demon, and he's going to be chasing after someone. I'm telling you, these things were so ingrained in our heads. And by the way, we have a question from Mervin here. And do you know why algebra is like a relationship? And Mervin, I'll beat you to the punchline. I'll take that one from you if you don't mind. Because let's see, you're always looking for your X. Hang on a second. How's it go now?
Yeah, come on, Mervin, tell us.
Yeah.
I remember, Mervin.
Like, you're always looking for your X, and you're because you're never going to find your X, something like that. And then at the end, you can say, "Ask why." Oh no, and don't ask why. I don't know. He'll pop in there soon with a thing. Spankings. Well, yeah, we had spankings when we were kids. Because your X is Y.
Because your X is Y? Yeah. X is equal to Y? Is that what you mean? I've got one. I mean, it's like, do you know the definition of an expert?
An expert?
Yes. You know the definition of an expert?
I would guess that it's a former pert.
That's close. In algebra, an X is an undefined variable.
Yeah.
And in plumbing, a spurt is uncontrollable drip. So it's an undefined, uncontrollable drip.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Let's see. What else do we have here in the 80s memorabilia? Obviously, cassettes are big. Simon was a great game. VHS and Beta Wars. You remember those?
Yes. Oh, yeah. That was a biggie.
That was a big one. Oh, hey, walkie-talkies. Remember when walkie-talkies first came around?
Yes, I do.
Oh, God, those are great times.
And that was more the 70s for me, with the CD radios and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Actually, late 70s for myself.
Yeah. I mean, walkie-talkies was definitely 70s. I remember having them as a little kid. Those are fantastic. And then, of course, who could forget the ever popular Atari? I mean, the Atari Pong.
The 2600?
Yep, the 2600, Pong, Super Pong.
I don't know if it works, but I have an Atari. I'm going to call it an Atari clone. That Sears sold.
Yeah.
The cartridge up on top. I'm going to have to dig that out and see if it's even working.
Did you have a Game Boy?
Yeah, actually, I do.
Yeah, you probably still do.
The question is where?
Good times. Yeah, that was my first exposure to Ba 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 ba. The good
No,
old Tetris.
no, it's not a Game Boy. It's a Nintendo DS. Is what
Oh,
it is.
well, close enough.
I was going, wait a second, I do have one, but no, it's a Nintendo DS.
Oh man, good times. Let's see what. Let's see if we have any comments there in the
90s, didn't it?
Bubble Bobble game. I thought I misread it. I was thinking Double Bubble, but that's a lot older than the 70s or 80s. But Pop Rocks, definitely Pop Rocks. It was so funny because I remember. I mean, we all remember, at least if you're around at that time, we all remember the famous urban legend of Mikey, the Life cereal guy, supposedly dying from eating Pop Rocks and Coke and Coca-Cola. I don't know if you remember that, but it was real big when I was in high school. That was a rumor that went around everywhere. Mikey, the Life cereal guy, died from eating Pop Rocks and Coca-Cola. His stomach exploded. And the funny part was, I mean, they didn't pull it off the market, but I don't know why they just didn't sell as much Pop Rocks. But years later, not only was the rumor proven to be untrue, but Mikey was in a Life cereal like a decade later as an older kid, as an adult with his kids. And it was just so funny. Good evening, Michael. Welcome to the channel. Yep, the game Pong was a big one. A first 13-inch black and white. Bubble Bobble was a great game. All those games like Trouble. Was it Trouble that had the Pop-O-Matic?
In the center, yeah.
Yep.
It was Trouble, and there was another one too that had that.
Trouble and I want to say Sorry, but I don't know if it was.
Yeah, it was Sorry.
Okay,
it was Sorry.
Yep. Sorry was the other one and stuff, and the Game of Life was always great. You know, you get the all the little kids. That was one thing that I've carried on to my kids. I'm happy to say is all types of. By the way, I apologize, folks, if because there's so many comments. I apologize if I didn't get to your comment, but we are reading them all and stuff. And this is sometimes the show goes so fast. But feel free to continue to comment. I will try to get to each and every one of them as much as I can. Oh my God, Russ just mentioned the pet rock. I actually have. Where is it? No, it's not within arm's reach, but I have a box of memories, and I still have. I bought it at a. Do you have white elephant sales in your neck of the woods?
No, but I have white elephants.
Okay, because
it's a Cuban thing,
White. Oh, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, the white elephant. I remember that. Yeah, face the butt toward the door for good luck. That's just freaking crazy. But anyway, well, let me not offend somebody who shares that type of whatever belief. No, when St. Brendan's, the Catholic elementary school that I went to back in the day had the yearly festival. And while the festival was going on with some rides and some carnies that were all missing teeth, and in the fair, in the big field, in the area of the school, what we had was one room was dedicated to it was a white elephant sale. I don't know why they called it that, but it was basically nothing. It was people would donate whatever, and we would go and we'd buy whatever, and the money went to the school. Obviously everything was fundraising back then, and I found this triangular shaped rock, and they painted a dragon's head on it with teeth, and I thought it was the coolest thing. I was a little kid, And I found it fascinating that my third grade classroom was turned magically over the weekend to sell stuff like a garage sale. And that was my influence with the pet rock. Okay, folks, let me share this one with you. Dirty Knobs just said, my Chinese neighbor has a pet wok.
No.
That was bad, but funny. That was funny. Let's see. The Marlboro Man. Oh, yeah. Good old Joe Camel and the Marlboro Man. Before that, the big cowboy and stuff. Trouble is the name of Koner's Pop-O-Matic game. Yep. Koner's? I don't remember Koner. Was that a misspelling, or is that actually the name of the person who made it?
Mitchell mentioned the Marlboro Man. The Marlboro Man was of course figured in tobacco ads. And, but it started in 1954 and ended in about 1999. And just like I used this. Well, this was 2004. Our life and our memories are so weird sometimes. Sometimes things just kind of
overlap.
Yeah, and that's one of them that overlapped a lot. Just like Santa Claus having a pipe.
Yeah, Frankie mentioned that. It's I remember in the old days, Santa Claus had a pipe. We didn't think anything of smoking back then. I mean, I'm personally not a smoker, but I remember vividly when I was young, there was a lot more of it. It's before all the health concerns the health concerns had come out already, but nobody believed them. And I'm not going to say like global warming because but at the time, most people that smoked didn't believe them, and then now most people that smoke really don't care. And I'm never one to judge one way or another. Smoke if you got them is what I say, but just not
but do it in a designated area.
in your designated area, because I don't like the smell of smoke. But I applaud and defend your right to smoke all you want. Hey, I drink Diet Coke all day long. I don't want anybody taking that away from me. So
I remember back in
vice is a vice, and a vice is nice.
back in the 80s. Back in the 80s, I would smoke a pipe and I would drive between here and Andrews, Texas, and I would really catch a buzz because it kind of takes the oxygen away from your brain and stuff, and to the point where it makes me nauseous sometimes. But I enjoyed smoking the pipe, and I learned how to smoke the pipe in Minot, North Dakota, where it's like 20 degrees below zero, and the warmth of the pipe helped to warm up your hands and stuff and such. But I remember the changes that took place from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I was on campus where I work now as a student back in around 89, and I would 89 maybe 90, okay, smoking inside, but in a smoking area in the hall. And, now it's outside, and not even outside anymore. It's you just don't. I mean, and there are designated areas, but
Mitchell, $6 million man, I am assuming he means, or the $1 million man. Or was that reference to the Marlboro Man? Not sure. I guess he means $6 million. We'll definitely get to one episode on TV shows from the 80s in the future, because there's just so many. I mean, just so many. I'm not even going to start. Remember when Nestle Quick brought out strawberry Nestle Quick?
Oh, my favorite. Actually, not banana, strawberry. Banana Quick is my favorite.
Banana. Yeah. Mickey Mouse Club. That was a little pre. That was pre 70s, but still, it's. I grew up with the Mickey Mouse Club.
KYMOUSC.
Yep. Fantastic. Let me see what other wonderful nostalgic memories can I dig up from the 80s. I mean, I've there's just so many. I used to have now there was a short time where baseball shirts, I call them baseball shirts. I don't know what to call them. the shirts that have
the little holes in them.
No,
Like
the shirts. They're T-shirts that have not the short sleeve, not the long sleeve, but the half sleeves, and they're a different color than the rest of the shirt. I don't know if I've explained myself, but half sleeve. I call them baseball shirts because
they're called camp shirts.
What are they?
This is a camp shirt. It's a casual half sleeve, full length, front bottom closure body cut suit.
Sounds about right.
Half sleeve.
You know, they're like like Troy put it. They're like they're jerseys, baseball jerseys, the 3/4 baseball shirt, if you will. Yeah, there was a while where if you remember the 80s. Now this is 80s. Ooh La La Sassoon, with their Sassoon jeans at the time of Sergio Valiente jeans. Ooh La La Sassoon, they made these shirts that said, they were green and white shirts, and it just became the fad for like maybe 3 or 4 months. It said Ooh La La Sassoon. I don't know, and they had nothing to do with shirts. There was a jean company, but still. Oh man, good. I'm just remembering my high school years. What was popular around your high school years that you can remember?
The TI 30, I think it was the TI.
Oh, yep.
That was around 78, 79. I think it was the TI 30. Great calculator. The best calculator, was it the TI 30? Yeah, it was. It was maybe it was 29. No, it was the TI 30. Yes, definitely the TI 30. Walmart sold it for like, I don't know, $25 or something. I don't remember. Something was a big way of.
We got some good ones out there. Okay, so Mitchell says Lost in Space. Obviously, we will talk about the shows. Those are fantastic shows and stuff. Ice boxes were being phased out. I think that was a little older than. Well, no, maybe they were. They were near the end of it on the ice box. Now that reminds me of TV antennas. And remember that when cable first came on the market, and it was the big 12-button, 3-switch, 36-channel cable box from before it was Comcast. I forgot the name of the OJ. That's a good one. OJ and the Samsonite commercial. And the Hertz commercial and the Samsonite commercial.
Him running through the airport.
Him running through the airport to get to the Hertz, the juice, and then the Samsonite commercial with the gorilla. Remember that one? Samsonite is so tough.
Yeah.
We put it in this. Yeah, yes. That was great. Earth shoes. Now that one I don't remember. Chris Neilan just said Earth shoes. What
is he talking about? The jelly shoes?
Jelly sandals. I remember. That's
sandals.
Yeah. Oh, here's a good one, and this will bring up a lot of good memories for both of us. And I could talk about this forever, so I won't. Dirty Knob said TRS 80s. Now I worked at the Shack for years, so I remember it vividly.
Shoes
and
Earth shoes.
And Portal just joined us. Welcome, David. We and have been talking about 70s and 80s memorabilia, hodgepodge of it for the past 48 minutes. And yep, there's another good one, Chris. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz.
Oh, yeah. I had a little bit a little while ago.
Yep, and I can't believe I ate the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the guy sitting on the side of the bed.
Yep, absolutely. And then there's let's see what else we got. Oh man, it's so many things. The how about the end of drive-throughs? I mean, I don't know, or drive-ins. Actually, there's still a few left, but drive-ins were the thing in the 70s, and then they just flat out practically died in the 80s.
Yeah,
at least here in this city.
Yeah, we have Stars, and I can't remember the other one, but we have two of them here that are still the same way. Sonic. I'm sorry, Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
Those two.
No, I wasn't talking about drive-through eateries. I'm sorry. I was talking about drive-ins.
Theaters.
Yep.
Theaters. Yeah.
Drive-in theaters.
Had a theater, a drive-in.
Yep. We had here in Miami, we had Tropicare for the longest time. It was a theater, and then for a while, it became a flea market during the weekend, and then a theater during the week, and then it just flat out stopped being a theater, and it was always a flea market. And then for years the sign stayed up until Best Buy bought the whole complex, Best Buy and Modern Age, and whoosh, there's a good one, Troy. Where's the beef?
Oh yeah, with that little old lady.
Wendy's commercial with the little old lady. Yep, loved it. Yep. Oh man, that was classic. But let's see here. How about this? Did you ever own a calculator watch?
Yes, I did.
I would have expected you to,
and probably still have one somewhere in my shop.
I don't doubt it. Slime. How about slime?
Yeah, I think we actually made some slime this last.
Right, I love making slime. Yeah,
and the grandkids spilled it all over the carpet. You know, it just.
Yep.
It gets crunchy after a while for some reason.
Yep. Trying to think what else were some good classic. I mean, swatches. Did you ever have a swatch?
No, I never did.
Yeah, because we just about went through every fad in the 70s that I could remember, but I know there's more stuff out there.
Mitchell's mentioning Play-Doh.
Play-Doh. Oh, yeah.
How far back?
Play-Doh's been quite a while back, I would imagine. Quite a while. I mean, certainly it's pre-70s, but still. I mean, and if we want to talk pre-70s, how about how many popular lunch boxes can you remember that you had as a kid? I mean, I'm talking the tin lunch boxes. What type? I'll ask this. What type of, he's going to go get his lunchbox. In the meantime, I had a $6 Million Man lunchbox. I had a, you know what? I got to be honest with you. Most of the I had mostly cartoon lunchboxes like Flintstones and stuff like that when I was a little kid. Couldn't find it?
I give up. The wife moves things. I blame the wife. Okay. Yeah. She moves things.
I found it so super cool. My dad was a contractor he's still a contractor going on 56 years. So anyway, he was a contractor back then, and I found it so cool. You remember they probably still make them, the thermos.
The thermos. Oh, you locked up on me, Javi. And in the meantime, so that we don't have any dead time, the only thermos that I currently have, and that one I can go out to the shop and get, is a big thermos like this. It's a glass line thermos. I think it's glass line, but it's supposed to have a 5-year warranty. It's supposed to keep your colds and your hot, but it's actually metal, the whole thing. And I got a be right back, computer froze, carry on, he says. Yes, so we'll do thermoses. Since he mentioned thermoses, I'm going to cheat a little bit and look at thermoses, and I probably need to look at at the chat. But let me find something from the 80s since he mentioned that, because I think around that time the thermoses that were coming up, and I can't do much, but they were.
I'm back.
Welcome back. The thermos that I have is actually green in that classic avocado thermos look with the silver. That one I can go out to the shop and find. I guarantee you I can go out and get that one. I know, because that one's in the shop and the wife can't move it on me. Or the wife doesn't want to go out in the shop. She's scared. But yeah, I remember my mom and dad would actually, take their lunch to work, and then they'd have walk them back. They'll be right back. And then they'd have walk them 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 back. every day, and had a thermos, and they'd have their cantina. I don't know if we used to have catered food given or gotten for us, and it was like a little aluminum container like this with multiple tiers on it with the different foods in it, and they would take that to work with them in a thermos, and that way they wouldn't have to buy anything from the what we used to call the roach coach at that point in time. And see, we have a bunch of food trucks around here now. That's the in thing. In the last 5 years, food trucks have been the in thing, and it's great because there's some awesome food trucks with those awesome food. But back then, and this was in Chicago, the factories and stuff would all be lined up, in a big commercial or industrial area, and the food trucks would go from place to place, and everybody would take their breaks, and they would come out, and they'd have hamburgers and hot dogs and sandwiches, but that was the term that they gave them back then. And Hobby seems to be having some issues.
Stand by.
Okay, no problem. No problem. I'm just going to look here at
the computer to reboot.
I'm going to look at the Converse All-Star high tops. Yeah, that was definitely a 70s and 80s thing for sure. The old thermos bottles were glass filled in a vacuum. Don't drop them. What's funny, Chris, is the one I've got, I don't really think it was glass.